What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pulse, where we're getting ready to go into our show, Lions Roar 3. Yes, Lions Roar 3. But before we can talk about all the promo action, we've got a promo artist who asked for some special time just to address an issue here. So please welcome him to the show, the German Connection, Rob Bell.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, due to some personal changes in my life, I hereby announce today my retirement from HSP.
Whoa. Can you let us in a little bit on what the big changes are?
Change for working. Okay. Yeah. I will. I worked as a security guard, but it didn't fit me. So I go back to where I started, and that's office working, and yeah, that's where I applied. But this time it's not.
Okay.
It's more about where was I? It's more about a public office.
I gotcha. Well, we hate to lose Rob Bell. Do you have a few moments? We got a couple people back here. Maybe they'd like to wish you a farewell and a happy retirement. So
Sure.
please welcome him first to the show. He's a favorite on here. He always has something important to say. Please welcome him to the show, the hooded villain himself, the villain.
Man, Rob, we are going to miss you. All I can say is you're better than Purge. And pretty much until you leave, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out.
Thank you very much.
All righty. And also welcome him to the show. He's new here. He's brash. He's opinionated, but he always tells the truth. The young gun.
Is he really
Oh
new here?
man.
Well, Rob Bell, you're my second favorite German here in HSP. But I want to thank you for the contributions. I don't think we've ever notched up before. But if we have, I would have probably kicked your ass. But happy retirement. Hopefully, we'll see you down the road if your schedule clears up. And out of everybody that's on the screen right now, I personally know how personal life gets, and sometimes it's bigger than promo. So good luck on your future endeavors.
Hey, Rob,
Thank you
can you
very
do me a
much.
favor also? Make sure that your retirement lasts longer than Brick Johnson's.
You mean the guy who still held the loserweight title?
Oh,
Wait,
the
maybe.
loser weight is what he called him.
That's good.
I thought that was Purge's
That's good.
title.
Nah, it was Brick Johnson when he lost to me a couple of months ago.
That's true. That's true. Well, Rob, you're allowed. You're welcome to stay here as long as you want. You've always got an invitation to return to Heart and Soul Promotion. We know you're involved in the prediction shows. You're always invited to those as well. And I want to
Yep.
personally thank you for the 2 years you've given Heart and Soul Promotions.
I want to thank everyone and have a nice show. I'll head to bed because my schedule is tough.
All right, thank you. Well, on the way out the door, Rob Bell. All right, so this I'd like to do something a little bit different than talking just about the upcoming show, Lions Roar 3, and I want your guys' opinion on this. In our executive chat, some people put together some top 10s, their opinion of who's top 10 in Heart and Soul Promotions. And I'd like you guys and whoever else comes on to comment about these. So I'm not going to say who these people were, except I will tell you what mine is. But I want to see what you guys think about this. So let me go to the first one here. This is the person that started this conversation in our executive chat. They said number 10, Prince Blackheart. Number 9, AEP. Number 8, Mama Purge. Number 7, The Vagabond. Number 6, Mr. Wallace. Number 5, The Heathen. Number 4, The Purge. Number 3, A-List Alverson. Number 2, The Storyteller. And number 1, Old School. Villain, we'll start with you first. What's your thoughts on that list?
In my opinion, the champions should be 1 through 4, and so I don't agree with that as it is. Right now, Heathen is too low for where he's at. For the role he has been on, he should be a lot higher than that. Mama Purge, yes, she may have had some good wins in the past, but you know what? That's I
All right,
think
so I'm
she's a
going to
little
put it
too
up
high
here.
up
That way
there.
you guys can actually see it instead of remembering me. I've typed it in here. This is the the first list. And I'm sorry it's blocking you a little bit here, Young Gun. I'm going to move it so that I'm down below so we can see you. So
I don't know. Yes, Old School is a great competitor. I just right now have to say, why is Mr. Wallace all the way down to 6? So
okay. Young Gun, you're obviously very disinterested and disenfranchised with this list. What's your thoughts?
10, 9, 8, 7, and 6 I've faced and beaten before. Maybe not here in HSP, but I know 3 of those have been here.
And you didn't
I'm
even make this
wondering
person's list.
exactly, no consideration after the work I just put in. You didn't see that match against me and Heathen for the Soul Fire title that went 1 point was the decider, and you're gonna overlook me again? That's a bet. That's a bet. All
All
right.
righty.
I'll
So
say.
let me go grab the next commenter's information here. This is another one of our members of the executive committee, and I'll put this list here, and I will put it on the screen. This person said number 10, The Purge. Number 9, AEP. Number 8, Shady Sean McKenzie. Number 7, The Vagabond. Number 6, The Young Gun. Number 5, Johnny Blade. Number 4, Carter Diamond. Number 3, The Heathen. Number 2, A-List Alverson. And number 1, Mr. Wallace. Last time we started with the villain. This time, Young Gun, we'll start with you on this list. Do you think this list is a little more accurate, or are there still some things that you disagree with?
I think this is a lot more accurate. First off, I'm on this list. Secondly, the men ahead of me, I kind of don't have a problem with. Mr. Wallace, Pure Heart Champion, A-List Alverson, 1 half of the Tag Team Champions, Carter Diamond, another half of the Tag Team Champions. Johnny Blade there. I mean, no, Heathen. I'm sorry. Heathen was 3. Carter was 4. Johnny Blade 5. I'm before Johnny. Yeah, that's actually an alright list. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. The only thing I would do is take Purge. I believe that is. I'll put Purge before AP because AP ain't better than Purge.
All righty. Villain, what's your thoughts on this list?
I actually think it's a good list. Now, I think Young Gun should be still at least 1, maybe 2 higher. Just looking at the role he has been on, as he has said, he did make a good point. He was left off the last list, and this one you at least go 1, 2, 3, 4 as the champions. And whoever wrote that is perfect because I don't know if that's the Purge or if that's supposed to be Pug or whatever, but
It's purged. I may not have copied it 100% complete. I'm copying it out of our chat. So if I missed anything, I apologize for that.
I don't think Purge should be even able to sniff the top 10 at this moment.
Purge is better than Sergeant Havoc right now. Purge is better than most of the under mid card here. Purge is a number 1 contender for the Pure Heart Championship. Purge is going up against Johnny Blade at Lions Roar 3 and getting his revenge. We've seen the role that Purge is on. I'm not going to let you sit here and keep disrespecting Purge like Purge ain't been putting in work in HSP.
Purge has been running away from me.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
For the longest period of time, I sat here, have been calling him out, and yet I have to go against his mother. Seriously?
All right. Well, before I go to the next list, Dr. Quack has chimed in. He's only given us a top 3, so I want to get your opinion on his top 3. He puts Heathen number 1, A-List Alverson number 2, and Mr. Wallace number 3. Villain, what's your thoughts on Dr. Quack's list?
So 1 through 4 could be put on either order in any order. So he picked 3 champions. There is nothing I could do to disagree about it. You could literally just put them in any order. So that's fine with me.
All right. And Young Gun, your thoughts?
I'll switch it. Wallace 1, Heathen 2, A-Lister.
All righty. And he's asked to join, so I've sent him a list to see if he wants to come on here. We'll ask him his thoughts here in just a moment if he comes on. But I think that I think the first list, the first one here, and I'll put it back up here. I disagree that Young Gun should not have been put on there. It's interesting putting Old School on the list at such a high ranking. I mean, yes, he's solid. And the same with Storyteller. They're both basically on hiatus, sabbaticals for unknown periods amount of time. But this person's not the only person that thought Heathen would rank higher than Mr. Wallace. Dr. Quack did as well. And in fact, here he is. So let's get his opinion. Please welcome him to the show, the host of the Dr. Quack sessions and what other names, house calls, I think it's called now, Dr. Quack.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, so let me first of all take that off so we can see you here. I know you were watching in the back. I want to get your thoughts on this first executives list. Young Gun did not agree with it at all. Villain
I don't agree with it either. I think, Young Gun is definitely among the top 5. I really do. I think he's a strong shot there. I mean, you have Storyteller, who's basically MIA or retired or however you want to call it. Old School, who's pretty much taken a hiatus. I don't think you can put either one of them 2 up there in the top.
Okay.
Even though they're both excellent competitors, I just, you're looking at now, like if I had to put them in the contest in a match, I can't.
All righty. And then the other one here, I'll put it back up here. This was the second one we discussed with Purge number 10, AEP number 9, Shady number 8, Vagabond number 7, Young Gun 6, Johnny Blade 5, Carter Diamond 4, Heathen 3, A-List 2, and Mr. Wallace number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think Purge is a little low there. I mean, he is strongly competitive throughout the promo world and even in HSP. I do think that he needs to go up a bit. I mean, I'm not going to say he's top 5, but I think he's close.
Okay.
AEP, I think, is about right. You might put him up 1 or down 1, depending on how you see him, but he's definitely a strong competitor there.
All righty. So the next one I'm getting ready to put up here will be my list because 4 of our executive members have provided lists and 2 of them were exactly the same. The last list we just did was parroted by another member of our committee. So I'm going to give you mine. And again, this is my opinion.
Oh, hey, sir.
Yes.
Can I explain what I put the 3, 2, 1?
Sure. Let's do
Okay.
that.
I put Heathen more strongly over A-List and Mr. Wallace right now because I think he's fighting stronger competition. There's more people wanting to come for his belt. I don't feel like there's so many people that want to come after Mr. Wallace in the Pure Heart Championship. There's very few competitors that are going to be able to match for that. I think Heathen's got the target on his back, and a lot of people want to take his title. A-List is great, but he's mainly only fighting tag team matches at this point.
And that's fair, which, yeah, he does have a match coming up. But here's my list.
Now, Dr. Quack, I agree with you. Like I said, before you came on, I could see the list go either way when it comes to the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
But as you have pointed out, the competition Heathen has gone against. So,
all right. So here's my list for everybody. I put number 10, the Bossellini, Carter Diamond. Number 9, Sergeant Havoc. Number 8, the Purge. Number 7, Shady Sean McKenzie. Number 6, the Vagabond. Number 5, the Young Gun. Number 4, Johnny Blade. Number 3, Heathen. Number 2, A-List Alverson. And number 1, Mr. Wallace. Dr. Quack, your thoughts on this first?
I mean, I think this is fairly accurate. This is actually a pretty good, compelling list there. 3, 2, 1, you can really put in any order. It just depends on your preference. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. That's about right. I mean, Johnny Blade, Young Gun, you could switch just depending on how you see it. I mean, I would put Young Gun slightly ahead of Johnny Blade just by the inches, but that's a close fight and something I would love to see. Vagabond, yep, definitely strong. He just has a tough time winning titles here in HSP, which is just horrible, and I can't believe it. Shady's done great. Purge is about right. 8. Yep, that's where I put. Sergeant Havoc making the list. Yeah, you can make a case for it. And Carter Diamond being a tag champion, I'm okay with.
And I will say this in my defense, the only reason I put Purge so low, yes, he is the number 1 contender for the Pure Heart, but he was seen as the underdog in that match. He was not expected to win. So
Yeah.
I rank him a little bit lower because he pulled a rabbit out of his hat more than anything else. While he is a strong competitor, I think it was a little bit more of a shock win than it was a definitive declamatory, I am the Purge, hear me roar. So now, Young Gun, your thoughts on this list?
I need to face Johnny Blade. That's kind of what this list is saying. I'm not gonna lie. I need to face Johnny Blade in the ring. Whether he pulls it out against Heathen or not has to be seen. But I know dang well I'm coming back to that championship. Because 1 point is paid. So I need the definitive win for that. And I hope it's Johnny Blade holding it because as much as I love Heathen, I don't want to have to face him again. I want Johnny Blade.
All righty. Villain, your thoughts on this list?
I agree. I think a Young Gun versus Johnny Blade match would be one heck of a showing, and to determine who's going really the better competitor and should be higher up on the list. I think hopefully that the committee is now finally going to decide to actually make a actual list and let the competitors in that top 10 start to flush out who really is in the top tier of that list.
I kind of agree with that, and I think this got that conversation started. So I want to ask this question. And Young Gun, I'm going to let you start this question. Hypothetical match, the Young Gun versus Johnny Blade. What is the time limit? Is it 2, 3.5, 4, or something else? 2. Villain?
Yeah.
I think the perfect match for them would be a 2-minute match. I would like to see him go longer than 2 minutes, though, but I think 2 minutes is perfect for both of them.
All right. Quack, do you agree or do you have another opinion?
Yeah, I kind of go with the 2 minutes on that. Both these guys have proven they can do it. I mean, Johnny Blade has held the title before, so I got to give him like the slight edge on it, but you know, that would be a toss-up to me.
All righty. And Young Gun, you've got somebody that wants to say they finally meet. Joe Bob Daniels. All right, so that's the list that we had that was on our executive chat. Do any of you want to add anything to the lists, take away from anything, except for Young Gun not appearing on one of them? That's already been well established. Anything else that somebody we forgot, somebody that should have been ranked on these lists that wasn't?
I guess the first one was the most surprising, as I think when Dr. Quack came on, talking about like, and I think you even said it, Mayhem. You had Old School, who, yes, is a great competitor. He's held the championship. The big championship. He's held the tag team championship, but he's taken a sabbatical. We don't know how long he's going to be out or when he's going to come back. You have Storyteller, who I think, as Dr. Quack has said, has gone MIA. Like, those two being on the list is, like, I guess the most shocking aspect of it, and not just being on the list, but being number 1 and number 3.
1 and 2.
Or 1 and 2. That to me, that's spitting in the face of the current champions at this moment.
All right. Young Gun, did you have, except for the one omission of yourself, did you have anybody you think should have been on some of these lists that was not?
I would have liked to see Sergeant Harvick's name a little more. Even though he's been on a bit of a losing streak, I think he is a very strong competitor. And I think that he definitely needs to be in consideration because he's always in a double, always in a mix for a championship opportunity. So I think I should have seen his name.
All right. Dr. Quack?
I think one person that if we made this list possibly 2 months later that would make it is Jacob Black. That guy definitely has some fire in him, and I think that, if, like I said, if you make this 2-3 months later, he might crack your top 5.
Well, we're going to find out. So let's start with that, and we're going to talk about Promo Vegas as well. So this is not Dr. Quack's Promo Vegas, by the way. Dr. Quack used to do Promo Vegas. Now we actually have a hired odds makers that do this. They are anonymous to me. The committee has put this together. So let's talk about the first match here, getting ready to come up on the Lions Roar show, Lions Roar 3. We've got Jacob Black versus AEP, and AEP is favored 2-0, which means Jacob Black pays at 8-1 and AEP pays at 4-1. Since you mentioned Jacob Black, what's your thoughts? Do the odds makers get this one right?
I don't think so. I mean, I like AEP. I've always liked watching him work, and he has grown so much. But I think this is Jacob Black's breakout match. I think he is going to get the victory here.
All righty. Young Gun, you seem to have been in agreement.
Yes, definitely. As we said from his past appearance against me, played his own very well. You know what I'm saying? He got something. And as much as I do like AEP, I don't think next match going to go ahead and handle his business against Jacob Black. Jacob Black, this is going to be his favorite match, and he's going to have to show that he can really hang with some of the top guys here. And I think AEP will be a good stepping stone for that.
Yeah, and just to let everybody know before we go to the Villain that Jacob Black wrestled or performed here as a promo a few times as Jacob X. Then he had some, as Young Gun well knows, real life things came up and he had to take some time and step away. And when he's coming back, he's repackaged himself in honor of some of the things that held him down and kept him out of the promo world, Jacob Black. So that is the same person, but he's got a big fire under him. Villain, what's your thoughts?
Seeing those odds and then hearing it and then listening to these two guys, I have to agree. If Jacob Black comes in like he did last week on the Pulse, this is going to be, I don't think, as a squeaker by any means. I think this will turn out to be Jacob Black winning by a landslide. But I want to see the fire. I want to see that determination that he came out here with to not only annoy me, but anybody else who was on the screen last week. So
he stirred some pots.
He did. So I want to see that fire. If he brings the fire, he's going to win by a lot. Just don't underestimate that secret garden. That's all I ask of him.
That's true too, because the King of Mind Games will screw you up if you're not ready for it. So, Villain, since you're on here next, let's talk about your match. Villain versus Mama Purge. The odds makers said even money. Both pay at 3-1, which means there is no favorite. Villain, your thoughts on this?
You know what? I think they got it wrong. I haven't been on screen in a very long time in a promo capacity, full time. Mama Purge has. If I was the Vegas odds, I'd be putting her having the odds in her favor, because you don't know what's going to come out of my video. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if I'm going to technically be cleared, but I don't know. I think they're favoring me up there a little too much.
All right, Dr. Quack, what's your thoughts?
See, and I'm actually going to agree with Promo Vegas. I kind of put this right at a coin flip because just like Villain was saying there, he hasn't been on screen a long time. But then again, Mama Purge has kind of had a lot of distractions with outside the HSP and in the other promo world realms. There's a lot of matches she's got to compete in. I think that's going to be a distraction, and this could very well be a tie.
All right, and Young Gun, your thoughts?
I agree with everything that's being said, and the only point that I really have is what villain's gonna come out of it, right? You've been gone for a long time. A lot of people have been clowning you low key. Like, I want to know what the villain really has in store. The villain is really ready to come back quick and get right and get on the clock to hold him down.
Well, I want to ask this point here because the thing I think that Promo Vegas noticed here, this match is only 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So while Villain has not been on the screen in a while, Mama Purge is not a 2-minute performer.
And my
You
last
think
match
that
was
that might have been why they called it even money?
my last match was against Johnny Blade in 2 minutes, and I probably should have would have won the match if I would have slowed my promo down a little bit. So who knows?
Young Gun, you think anything that played into it, or is that just coincidence?
Nah, that could have definitely played into it because it's a 2-minute match, and it took a little bit of time for Mama Purge to set up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and trust me, in my match against Houston, it took me a couple times. That's why I said the 2-minute matches are easier than the tag team matches because I had to, slow it down. I had to really get my points across. And trying to do that in 2 minutes can be difficult, especially for a long match.
All right, and Dr. Quack.
I don't think that really plays a factor. One thing I noticed, though, I'm just watching like the hypes and things that are coming out. Mama Purge did not look as fiery in her hypes there as she normally is. I think that may play a factor. I mean, you got to have some emotion in this. Villain is a guy who is known as either extremely emotional or no emotion at all. So it's all going to depend on what he pulls out there to make this a factor.
All righty. And please welcome him to the show. He's joining us now, and we're going to get his thoughts here in a few moments. Shady Sean McKenzie. Sir, welcome to the show.
How's it going, everybody?
All right. So
I know that guy.
We're going to start with this, with the promo odds. We're asking your thoughts here on this, and we're talking Villain versus Mama Purge. Promo Vegas made this even money. It's a 2-minute match. What are your thoughts?
Even money? They've been talking a lot of smack. I'll say that much. A lot of smack has been talked between these two. And I guess I can kind of see the even odds there. We haven't really heard much from Villain. People like me been taunting him for weeks. He may have a little built-up aggression there that he's ready to take out on Mama Purge. So, but Mama Purge also has a little bit of aggression to take out towards Villain. So it's going to be a good fight.
But and I gotta say this: have you noticed like the last week and a half how it's kind of both been quiet? Has the emotion died in this match?
No, it's like me and Young Gun. We've got a plan. You know what I mean? When you're putting certain matchups against certain individuals, you know how to handle them, or you think you do, and you play it a certain way, and you just this moment right here. Me and Young Gun both being on the screen at the same time. There's so much tension right there. That's enough hype to build for months. But it is what it is. People like Heathen probably wouldn't agree, but.
Fair enough. So I want to get your thoughts. We've talked about this in the past, and everybody's had their own opinion. And since you've come on, I want to get your opinion. We started off talking about the executives here made their own personal top 10 lists. I'm not going to give away who did them except my own. But this was the first one. And I want your opinion on this top 10. So I'm going to put it on the screen here for you so you can read it. And I want your thoughts on it.
That's one person's opinion.
All right.
Is that a top 10 list from people in HSP?
That is one of the executives here in HSP, but it is not an official list. This is just their opinion.
And that's a current roster list?
That is a current roster list.
Yeah, that's a strong
Well-
statement. That's a strong statement in my way. That's all I'm gonna say.
Semi-current because two people aren't actively here.
Right, but this one, very few people agreed with.
I don't
And
agree
you
with it.
notice you didn't make the list.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all.
All righty. So this next list here, two of our executives independently came up with the exact same list. So I'm going to put it up here. This represents two people's opinions on the executive board.
Okay.
And that purge is supposed to be purge.
There's a couple of names on there that I don't necessarily agree with, and there's definitely the placement I don't agree with,
All
especially
right.
number 1 and number 2.
Okay. Who would you make 1 and 2?
Out of those two, A-List should be in front of Mr. Wallace, definitely.
Okay. Anything else about that list that you would move around, change, like, or dislike?
I wouldn't change anything. I just know that I can tell favoritism lists when I see them. But everyone is favoritism towards something. You know, everyone has their own opinion. So what one
That's
person
fair.
likes, another person is not going to like. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's a battle you're never going to win.
Not me. I hate everybody equally.
All right. Dr. Quack did just a top 3 for us, so I will put this up here because it's under his name. This was so that he only did top 3.
I could see his opinion on that.
All right. And here
Just
is my
because,
list.
just because I feel like I know his personal opinion towards the promo game.
Okay, and here is my list. So, like I said, I'm not hiding. This was my list.
So for Mr. Wallace to be above A-List Alverson, man, y'all, I don't know what y'all see that other people in the promo industry are not seeing.
Well,
I'm not taking anything away from Mr. Wallace, none whatsoever, but A-List Alverson is definitely a world-class promo artist over Mr. Wallace, and that's without a doubt. Anyone that doubts that.
I will say this just so because I'm here and I can defend my opinion only. I made Mr. Wallace number 1 only because he's a pure heart. Until someone dethrones him, he's always number 1. It's because he's the champ.
When you're talking about current, okay, I see, I can see that. So
Yeah.
So I can defend at least my opinion. I'm not going to say anything about any of the other executives. But that's the reason I
and
listed Mr.
just
Wallace
saying
number
that
1.
alone helps me understand the thinking of where certain individuals are placed currently.
I mean, you could put Mr. Wallace and A-List, A and B right there, but A-List Alverson has beaten him 6 times in a row.
This is fair.
Look, I love Justin Dykes, but Purge would never be on my top 10 list
Ooh.
anywhere.
Ooh.
And
The number 1
Something I
contender?
can agree with Shady on.
I'm sorry, it's just you look at I look at promo styles differently. I guess I guess.
Well,
Shady, now,
you're allowed to your
I'm going to
opinion.
give Shady, I'm going to give my opinion a little bit more on this.
Okay.
For me, Mr. Wall, I want to see A-List be number 1. I think he deserves to be number 1. But until he actually decides that he is done playing tag team competition and go back for that title, I just don't see it at the moment because right now you do have the Pure champion.
Your career,
his
career is not for you to decide. His career path isn't for you to choose.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. But my opinion is currently
A-List, in my opinion, can take any title from anybody in HSP at any given point in time.
Oh yeah, hands down.
If he chose
Hands down,
to.
he can.
But he chooses not to.
I mean, if you got to really put it out there like this, we talk about household names in the promo world. A-List is among that top.
Yes.
I'm just being honest.
No, I
And
agree.
From my viewpoint, from my shady viewpoint.
Well, and
I'm
Shady,
not
if it
disagreeing
wasn't
with
for
you.
the Pure Heart champion, if we were going off the skill, I would agree with you. A-List Alverson is number one. But I went with when the first person we discussed this in the executive chat was make a top 10 ranking, and I interpreted that as the champion should be in the ranking.
I can see that.
But now that you're here and the Young Gun's here, let's talk what Promo Vegas says about the Young Gun versus Shady Sean McKenzie. So Promo Vegas has made the Young Gun the slight favorite. Young Gun pays at 5-2, and Shady Sean McKenzie pays at 4-1.
I can see that with the way things have went here recently. Most definitely.
We're going to start with the villain. We'll let you guys come up last on this one since it's your guys' match. Villain, your thoughts?
This is probably, to me, out of all the matches, this is probably going to be match of the night. Because I know Shady's style, and I definitely know Young Gun's style. They both can talk real fast, and they can hit real hard. And I don't know if I can really pick the winner. It's too close to call. Yes, I know Shady things haven't always gone the way that you would hope as of late, but I also know where you could get to. You've won the Pure Heart Championship.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember which one's which now. But yes, you've won the Pure Heart Championship. So you know what? At the end of the day, you could always pull that back, and you can fight. And you could take it from Young Gun. Young Gun, you've been on this amazing roll as of late. I want to see you keep going, and I think you both are just going to tear down the house. So as Dr. Crack likes that coin flip, I'm thinking it's going to land right down the middle.
All righty, and unlike the Mama Purge villain match, this match is 4 minutes. Dr. Quack, your thoughts?
Yeah, and see that is going to be an advantage, I believe, for Shady. Shady is an excellent promo artist at 4 minutes. If this was a 2-minute match, I would definitely go with Young Gun. Both these guys are fighting strong, and this is going to be, I'm going to agree with Villain on this. Mark this down. It's going to probably be match of the night. But I'm going to go with Shady on the slim edge. But, yeah, I'm expecting fireworks here.
All right. So, Shady, your thoughts?
Kind of like Villain almost said, like I said about A-List Alverson. If I wanted to, I feel like I could do just about anything here in HSP if I truly wanted to. Did I want the Soulfire Championship bad enough from Heathen when I faced him? Not necessarily. He wanted it more, and he proved that. That's why he won. Am I at a crossroads right now in my career? I just want a tag team match with Vagabond. That's something new. Or do I continue learning where I feel like I learned from in my mistake against Heathen in the Soulfire Championship match? Young Gun's in the same boat. We both just took that hard loss to Heathen. We both, in my opinion, made the same mistake by telling Heathen, you're going to mail me my championship belt. I know Young Gun looks at it a little bit differently, but that's the way I see it. That to me, that's a mistake. We both just approached it wrong. We both have a redemption story that we are going to tell one way or another, and there can only be one winner. We're both two well outspoken individuals, and neither one of us are going to back down an inch. I have no personal issues with Young Gun, but things are going to get heated in this matchup. Guarantee that, because we are both two powerful, strong individuals, and we're going to show it.
All right, Young Gun.
This is definitely match of the night, and for me, it's a little bit different because I got something personally to prove, and that's to prove that I can hang with quote unquote the best in the business today. Love him, hate him, call him whatever you want to call him. Shady Sean McKenzie is one of the best in the business today, and lands far away from Heart and Soul Promotion. Me and Sean McKenzie are on a collision course like this already. So when you have two giants in the promo game, and myself and Shady Sean McKenzie, you're going to see what happens. And I disagree with Dr. Quack saying that Shady has the slight advantage in a 4-minute promo match because, Slim, once again, I'm going to prove Patrick Common the best talker in HSP. I proved that in my match against Steven because he only got me by 1 point. Just one. So it's going to be another match, definitely.
I think another thing in this match is kind of wild is you have Young Gun, who is straight, like, in your face action, no glitz, no glamour, just straight, I'm going to punch you in the face. Shady has that ability where he uses more graphics and he will actually come out there and do some things beyond just the words. And it's going to be interesting how the judges see that.
Yes, and this is one of the 2 #1 contender qualifiers for that Soulfire title. These 2 were the last 2 competitors to face the Heathen. The committee felt they both were strong enough they deserve another shot, but I disagree with this, that they chose to put them against each other first, but I do like the match. I do want to see this match. So let's talk about, for both of you, we'll start first with Young Gun on this one. The other half of that #1 contender qualifier, newcomer Candice Wolf taking on Prince Blackheart. They have Blackheart at favorite by a slight edge, with Candice Wolf paying 5-2 and Prince Blackheart paying 2-1. Young Gun.
I think last show in that triple threat match with Purge and Reed, Blackheart cut the best promo I've personally seen from him in the singles match. Tag team promo wasn't all that good. Baby and bad feedback wasn't all that good. They ain't had it. But coming off that night, and this is what, a 4-minute promo as well, correct?
4 minutes, correct.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it to Blackheart. Blackheart going to go ahead and smoke her boots. No offense to Candice Wolf. I think that she's a very strong competitor. I don't want to say it would be too big of an upset if she does win. I do feel like she has a possibility of winning. But Blackheart, I think he's going to be on some redemption, redeeming sort of thing, some too long to, and he's going to pull out the win.
All right, Shady, you've recently just faced Brother Blackheart in that tag team match, and I know you've been following his career for a while. What's your thoughts, Candice Wolf and Prince Blackheart?
Prince Blackheart is no pushover. I do like what they're saying to each other right now currently, though. They're both attacking each other's persona characters. I think they both need to leave those checked at the door, and bring who they are to the table. And because at some point the winner of that matchup is probably going to have to go up against the winner of me and Young, so they need to know what they're battling at, again, for and against. Not saying that they don't, but I know Candice Wolf is new and her character's already been attacked for using a character. HSP looks at that a little bit differently. You have to play that a certain way. It's going to be interesting if she listens and learns from last time.
All right, and what I want to add in on this is Blackheart has been on a major role as far as going for gold. He's been getting himself in these #1 contender matches and coming real close. He was, in the final match to figure out a #1 contender for the Pure Heart. He's had several shots trying to get into the Soulfire. He's always talking about being the first European in HSP to have gold. Do you think he finally gets it there, Dr. Quack?
I mean, I'm going to start with Candice Wolf over here. She had first match jitters. I'm going to give her that, give her a pass. I think if she just tightens up the shot group, she might have a shot here. But like you're saying, Blackheart, he has definitely been on a roll. I believe the big factor in this matchup all depends on Blackheart. If he can get fired up, if he can come out there, guns a-blazing instead of the slow Joe Biden promo, I think he comes out and wins this match.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I got Young Gun. Look, he's dead.
You got Villain, you got Shady, you got me, you got Young Gun, you got everybody. I think even a couple of viewers were laughing. Young Gun or Villain.
So I agree with what Dr. Quack said. Honestly, it's the first match jitters did get to her. I'm hoping that this match she learns from that mistake and listens to what those judges said to build on to where she's going to be into this match. I give the edge to. I will give the edge to Blackheart because of the experience. Just like I said, her last match, it's the experience of her opponent knowing, okay, these are what the judges are expecting. He's been here just as long as I have been here in HSP, and he knows what they want. And as you have said, he's on a roll, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I am hoping that he can pull off what he's been doing for his goal, which is to become the first European to hold gold in the HSP. I hope that he could do that because that shows that if you fight for it and you're determined to get it, anything is possible. So I am giving Blackheart the edge on this one.
All righty, and I want to make a big special announcement here before we go into our final thoughts. We just had one more match signed for Lions Roar 3. And I sent him an invitation. I hope he comes to join us, but if he doesn't, Sergeant Havoc made a little enemy of somebody during his promo against Candace Wolf. He called out somebody who's just joined HSP, and they have a match. Sergeant Havoc and Bronx Bomber.
Y'all done fucked up. Y'all all fucked up. Bronx Bomber is the worst people in the promo today. I'm sorry.
So, Young Gun, I was hearing you first. Go ahead. Your first thoughts. Sergeant Havoc and the Bronx Bomber.
Sergeant Havoc done fucked up. He done pissed off. What from the same cloth as the Young Gun, but with a New York twist to it. You know what I'm saying? One Bomber is out here winning championships in different sports, doing this thing over in Defiance with the owner of that. He's one-on-one, bro. He's definitely one-on-one.
All right. I saw Shady give the big yeah. So, what's your thoughts? The Bronx Bomber and Sergeant Havoc.
I know the story there, so that's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the Bronx Bomber. Can't lie. Considering how Havoc, Sergeant Havoc beat Candace Wolf last week. Was it last? Yeah, wasn't it last week?
Last week, yes. That's Thursday.
Yeah, that's it's going to be interesting. So
it is. Villain.
So I have not seen Bronx Bomber have a promo, but I've heard amazing things about him. It's going to, as Shady said, it is going to be interesting. Do I go with the experience edge on Sergeant Havoc, knowing what the judges want, to another competitor who's just coming in here? I don't know about this one. It's gonna to me, it all depends on what we see from the Bronx Bomber.
All right, and I'm gonna phrase this a little bit different for Dr. Quack. Sergeant Havoc is 3-0 here on newcomers making their debut here. You, Dr. Quack, as well as I do, know kind of the judge's philosophy here. So, is Villain right? Does Sergeant Havoc have the advantage because he understands what the judges want, or does Bronx Bomber and his natural skill overcome that?
I mean, I think the big thing here, and this is Bronx Bomber. I have seen him compete in several different places. You know, his biggest thing here. This is going to be the problem. If he doesn't control his emotion, it's good to have emotion out on screen, but if he gets too far invested where he feels like he has to defend Candace Wolf's honor, that's going to be a big factor here. I think because Sergeant Havoc is going to come out his usual stick. You're not going to see any major changes. It's going to be your military rah, rah, rah against Bronx Bomber. And like I said, if he gets carried away, if he uses too many F-bombs, if he, you know, it doesn't explain the story correct how he's supposed to say it, he will lose this match. I do think he'll end up winning it, but he's going to have to do that to do it.
All righty, and I've only seen Bronx Bomber compete in Foundation a few times, so while I am not as familiar with him as I should be, the word out there from all the people that are associated and affiliated with Heart and Soul, whether it's Defiance, Foundation, APF, PPA, WGP, they all spoke very, very highly of him. And he basically got a free pass. Yes, come on in. We want Bronx Bomber. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Bronx Bomber can do here. He has a large name in the promo world. Does it translate here? Some people have had troubles here that have had big names. I'm talking about people like Gene Emerson had struggles here. Jay Briggy had struggles here. And they were coming in with big names known all over the promo game and won titles. So good luck, Sergeant Havoc, and good luck, Bronx Bomber. All I'm going to say is I'm looking forward to seeing the match. So let's go into the final thoughts now. Dr. Quack, your final thoughts about HSP, Lions Roar 3, whatever you'd like to discuss.
I mean, it's nice to see that HSP in general is moving in the right direction. You've got a lot of great competitors here that want to fight. I do think the Shady Young Gun match is going to be your top match of the night, the most anticipated match. It's going to be a good one to watch. I mean, in general, things are looking better, and you finally got live tag matches, which I'm very excited to see that tag match there between the Cartel and the Highway Hellraisers, which I don't think we talked about. That's on this card, right?
Yes, but I'm saving that for next week.
Okay. Can I give my thoughts on that?
Sure.
I think A-List and Cartel end up going there with Boss. I think they come out victorious. There's just too much, lack of ring rust there on the Highway Hellraisers. They've really got to bone up for a live tag team match.
All right. Shady, your final thoughts.
In HSP, if you don't know how to learn and adapt to your surroundings, you're not going to make it. Like Clack just mentioned, a couple of big names, talented guys. If they couldn't make it here, and you think you can, you need to really look at how you promo in this business, because that's what I consider it.
All right, Dylan.
To add on to what Shady said, you also have to be able to learn to take criticism as well. I know, like the first few times I was doing promos here in HSP, it took me a while to take the criticism what the judges were giving me. So we have so much great talent here. I know some of them I've faced. There are some that I've faced outside of HSP that I would like to be able to face within HSP, and I'm excited to see where we continue to go and all the different matchups that we're going to get.
All right, Young Gun.
Man, this is going to be a real interesting review coming up here. I wish that me and Cody had the number one contender qualifier. I wish Cody took on Havoc and Blackheart, and he took on Wood, and then we leave for that number one contender spot. But just know, tune in. It's going to be a very, very great call. We're going to see two of the best going in for a spot for one of the greatest champions.
All righty. And really quick, before I give my final thought here, Johnny Blade chiming in. He's going to beat Purge. Mark that down. I'm sure he'll be on here next week. So my final thoughts here is the Quackies recently happened, the Quacky Awards, and last year, Lions Roar 2 was voted the best show of all the promo shows, according to Dr. Quack. And I will say that I saw the list, and Dr. Quack, I think, did a good job with him and his team putting it together from the standpoint of, even though he's the former president of HSP, HSP did not dominate. Every company put on great shows. Every company had a great representation there. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Quack for giving us a good list.
Thank you.
And a good, fair list, but showing that Heart and Soul Promotion, we are moving in the right direction. We're bringing in some new talent. We've got some great homegrown talent or coming back in. Or coming in here, Rig getting going again. Got the young gun back. Shady is starting to get rolling again. Maybe we can convince Tin Man to knock the ring rust off of his boots and make an appearance or two. But we've got new people coming in. We've got people growing. And it all is because we're here to entertain those of you who watched. And we're also here because it's a community brotherhood. We like to compete together, and we like to do it the best way we can with our mouths.
Hey, Mayhem, maybe we could talk JP to come out of retirement again.
You never know. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. And we're going to see you next week. It's going to be the Go Home Show. We're going to talk about the other half of the big card, Lions Roar 3, to include that big tag team match. I'll see you next show.